guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, Jeff Trunapole, and as always, I'm bringing you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of hopefully should be the NL Cy Young Award winner, Trevor Bauer. And when I really like somebody, I throw the freaking in there, so he's Trevor freaking Bauer. Now this show and every show is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out their website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. All right, guys, if you watched my 2-cent rant I did earlier today, I posted it on the channel. Basically, I was just gushing about Trevor Bauer and how great he pitched last night. Last night, he pitched 8 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, and 12 strikeouts to get his ERA to 1.73. Wow, that is unbelievable. If you watched any of the game last night, it was, like I said, this has been playoff baseball. And I think this bodes well for the Reds if they continue to keep playing. Now they got to go, playing like this. They got to go to Minnesota, and I think they have to at least win 2 out of 3 in Minnesota. But if they keep this rolling, they're already in playoff mode. The Dodgers and all these other teams that are already clinched, they're kind of chilling. We saw that when the White Sox came to town, and they didn't put up their best effort. I'll give you that, and the Reds beat them. But the Reds were very intense, and Milwaukee, those games were intense. So the Brewers are trying to get into playoffs. The Reds right now are in. So I do think this playoff intensity that the Reds have is going to help them going into the playoffs this year because they're already in, like I said, playoff mode. They don't have to turn it on. It's already there. But last night, Trevor Bauer, one thing I love about him, you're going to like this when they're on your team, how cocky and arrogant he is and how confident he is in himself. Last night after the game, he was asked by a reporter if he thought he had cemented himself as the front runner for the Cy Young Award. And Trevor Bauer, being Trevor Bauer, I quote, "I don't see how you can see it any other way." I agree with him. I mean, look, this is what he has done this year. Like I said before, he's got a 1.73 ERA, which is number 1 in the National League. He's first in strikeouts with 100 exactly. Innings pitched, he's third with 73. Thanks to David Bell. Now, the most impressive one is his whip. It's 0.79. That's awesome. So I got a couple of viewers on the channel right now. So guys, if you're new to the show, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up. Like I said, I am up to 643 subscribers. So I'm trying to get to 700 as fast as we can. Talking Reds, go talk to Bengals here in a minute. But right now I'm starting off with the Reds because they are on a roll. They're playing, like I said, how me as a Reds fan expected them to play all year. It still worries me a little bit too much that they worry on the home runs more than I'd like them to. But the good thing about the home runs they're hitting now as to the ones that are hitting at the beginning of the year, guys are on base. So they're not hitting solo shots. I mean, Votto was a 2-run homer. I think Winker was a 2-run homer. I think maybe he's a solo shot, but Gino freaking Suarez blew the game open last night. I went nuts. Yes, Gino, that's my boy. Because I felt so great for him because he has struggled this year. He had such an awesome year last year. He had 49 home runs last year, the most by a Venezuelan player ever. And then he follows up with this year with just struggling. And he left to go have his second child. I think it's second child born. He came back, started struggling again, but then last 2 nights he's hit 2 huge home runs. So, I mean, I'm very excited about the Reds and what is going on with them. What's up, Jeremy? Yeah, I agree with you. Trevor Bauer definitely should be the Cy Young Award winner. I mean, I don't know how in the world you can't, say that. I don't know how, like I said, you're first in all the important things. Now the Reds, They won last night 6-1. Now, like I said, the offense showed up. They had 6 hits on 6 runs. They had 1 error. That was Gino, unfortunately. But I want to get to that. That was another great thing that Bauer did. Eugenio Suarez, as we like to call him Gino, he's a very good third baseman. He had a bad throw and pulled Votto off the base last night. So then Bauer, I can't remember which batter it was, but Bauer gave up a double for the next batter. Luckily, the guy who got a first didn't score. So you got a guy on third base and a guy on second base. And there's no outs. And this is huge. And this is before Gino hit the home run. So you really needed Trevor Bauer to step up, and boy, did he. He not only got the next 3 batters out, he struck them out. He struck out Yelich, who's a National League MVP 3 times last night. 3. I mean, and after he struck out those 3 batters, I think it was in the 6th inning. I can't remember offhand, but he was so fired up and so excited. Just think how it would have been if fans like me or like you would have actually been in the stadium. We would have been going crazy. I was going crazy down here in the ice cave. It was great. And on my show earlier, I said it's the best pitching performance by a Red I've ever seen in a regular season, because somebody else who's I bring on the show sometimes, Billy Roll, commented, well, what about Jose Rio in the 1990 World Series? Yeah, I meant regular season is what I was talking about. If I didn't clarify that on my rant, I apologize. But regular season pitching performance, to me, that's the best one I've ever seen. That includes the 2 no-hitters that Homer Bailey pitched, the no-hitter Tom Browning pitched, because there wasn't the pressure that was on Trevor Bauer last night and the Reds. They needed to win that game. Trevor Bauer was coming off of only 3 days rest. Trevor Bauer wanted the ball. He wanted to face the Brewers. That's a guy you need to sign. So like I said earlier today in my show, if I'm the Reds, I'm like, here's a blank check. You fill it out and we'll pay you, and make sure you stay as a Red. Now, if that happens, the best part is Gray and Luis Castillo are both signed till 2023. So if you can get Bauer at least signed till then, we're going to have those 3 guys until 2023. That is as good of a 3 starting pitchers on any team since I think the 90s Atlanta Braves. So, and you know what the Braves did? Everybody's like, oh, they only won one World Series. I agree with you. They probably should have won more, but that's just the way it happened. But me as a Reds fan, I'm excited about the 3 pitchers we have now, and hopefully they had the same success as Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz. That would be awesome moving in. Now, what you're going to have is Nick Castellanos, Nick Cablastos. Most likely, I hope not, most likely will opt out, because he's probably going to want to go try to get as much money as he can, which, I can't fault anybody for that. I can't fault Bauer for that either. I mean, we don't have Yankees money. So, we could get outbid and we could lose both of them. I don't know. I hope not. But there is one thing I think Trevor likes it here. I know he likes our pitching coach. And Trevor has had a way better year this year than he did last year with the Indians. So there's a lot of factors, because Trevor's a different kind of guy. He's not in it just for the money. He's in it for the love of the game. You can tell by just his YouTube channel and different stuff that he does, the way he promotes the game. So those things, I think, factor into a chance that the Reds have of keeping him. But like I said, when somebody hands you a check, for $250 million for 10 years or whatever, it's kind of hard to say no. I don't care who you are. So hopefully the Reds will sign him and keep him, and hopefully he'll stay here. Hopefully Nick Cablastos will stay here too. Maybe he'll just opt in. But that's the thing. If he opts in, then you got to pay his money. You got to pay Tucker Barnhart. I mean, there's a lot of guys that the Reds are going to have to pay. But we're going to worry about that later. Let's just concentrate on the here and now. And the here and now is the Reds right now are, my opinion, the hottest team in baseball. Now, they're off today. So tonight, I think it's 8:15. It's St. Louis versus Milwaukee. I personally would like St. Louis to lose. I cannot stand the Tweety Birds. That would be great to have them lose and the Reds inch up even closer to getting that guaranteed playoff spot as the second place team in the NL Central. So that's worth watching tonight. The Reds take on the Twins tomorrow. Let's see here. We got a question. Jeremy finally got back into the Reds because of this show. You're welcome. Let's keep Trevor. Yes, and keep winning. No blowing up. Haven't watched much since Chris Sabo. That's my boy, Sabo. That is my all-time favorite player. Glad to hear we're winning big games. Yes. And Jeremy, I'm glad I got you back to liking baseball and liking the Reds. Exactly. Must keep them. So anyway, but yeah, Sabo, that is my all-time favorite Reds player. I got a Pete Rose. Where's it? Pete Rose autographed jersey back there. But my favorite player of all time is Chris Sabo. I love the guy. So anyway, like I said, big weekend. The Reds, I think the entry number is still at 4. I think. I'm not exactly positive on that. But like I said this earlier in my rant. Now, David Bell came out and said that he's going to Sonny Gray, get this right. Sonny Gray's last pitching performance was the last one he had this week. He's going to save him for the playoffs. Now, and they're talking about bringing Trevor Bauer back on Sunday. Now, my question is, I know Trevor wants to play or wants to pitch on 4 days rest. My question is, I understand Gray just came back from the disabled list, but he only pitched 6 innings. So why don't you, if it's a must-win Sunday, which if they win the first 2 games, it might not be a must-win Sunday, but it probably will be. Either way, why don't you try to pitch Gray on Sunday, save Bauer? That way, when you go into the playoffs, you can start game 1 with Bauer, with Castellanos, and then bring back Gray on a couple of on short rest. Just my opinion, but we'll see. I see, Jeremy. What did you like? I gotta click on it here. The goggles, yes. I always used to beg my parents to let me buy those goggles and wear them for baseball and basketball, but I never did. Yeah, I got LASIK surgery. That's why I don't have glasses now. So, anyway, what you got here, Mike? Let's see here. One thing I love about Trevor is he was so fired up after striking out these guys. I agree with you, Mike. To me, that's got to fire the team up and fire everybody else up. I mean, he was doing the Conor McGregor, Vince McMahon walk off the mound. I mean, after he struck those guys out, if you watch it, he just stared them down. Like, yeah, I just did that. I struck you out. I'm that good. I'm that guy. That's the way he was playing last night. That's the way he was pitching. It was awesome. All right. I said I get into some Bengals stuff here, and I will. The Bengals take on the Philadelphia Eagles Sunday at 1:00. Now, this is some kind of interesting tidbit of information I kind of found out. Now, as you know, the Bengals are 0-2. Now, for the first time since 2008, there are 11 teams in the NFL that are 2-0. There's also the same amount of teams that are 0-2. I said, so you got 11 0-2, 11 2-0. Now, there's hope for the Bengals because the 2-0 out of the 2-0 teams in 2008, 6 of those made the playoffs. Okay, where's the hope in that, right? Well, out of the 0-2 teams, 3 of those teams made the playoffs. Now, I am by no means saying that the Bengals are definitely making the playoffs. I have no idea. They got to fix the offensive line like we always say. And I posted this on Sports with Strawberry Ice and out on Bengals Nation that it looks like Fred Johnson and Bobby Hart are going to be on the right side of our line again. And I know all Bengals fans are going nuts. Like, why? Well, they might not have a choice. I mean, Billy Price, by all account, has been a bust. They haven't been able to put him in there. Adeniji is still a rookie. Surflow, I guess he didn't do good. He still might be injured. I'm not sure. Now, a couple more tidbits. That's kind of a bad news, but the Bengals, let's see here. Okay, now this is one thing about the defense that we all know. The Bengals have lost their first 2 games by a total of 8 points. This is good. This is good news. They've only lost by 8 points, meaning they are in every single game. I mean, my opinion, and Jeremy and Mike have said this too. The first game, I still say we won because AJ Green, nobody ever throws a flag then. You don't throw that flag, that game's over, and we win. So we should be 1-1. But if the Bengals made one more play in that Browns game, you never know what could happen. Okay, one more stop. If they don't get the strip sack, on Joe Burrow, you never know what's going to happen. Now, the Bengals run stop has been terrible. It was better the first game. Last week, it was terrible. The Bengals are giving up 185 yards rushing. That's 30th in the NFL. Now, the bottom 5 teams are the Lions, Texans, Browns, and Bengals. All 5 of them are 0-2. So that tells you, obviously, you want to win, you got to stop the run. Now, where's the hope? Well, the hope is that Geno Atkins and Mike Williams hopefully will return soon. I'm hoping this Sunday. I don't know. I haven't heard anything if they're coming back or not. I was watching the Bengals podcast with Dave and Lapp, and they didn't even know. So we'll see what's going on. I hope they do win. I hope they show up because Bengals, we need a win. Joe Burrow needs a win. First one's coming guaranteed. Plus, forgot Peyton Manning didn't win the game. True. Be patient. Yep. Bengals Nation, Bobby will be, I think, gone soon is what you mean, Jeremy. But, yeah, they have to address the offensive line in the offseason. I don't know if you can address it now. I talked about it in how many shows in the offseason that I wish they would have addressed it. I wish they would have. So we'll see. Let's see. What you got, Jeremy? Yeah, hopefully we'll be back. I haven't heard. I don't know if he's coming back. I don't know if they've practiced. It's really hard to find that stuff out right now. And check out Bengals, their Bengals.com, and they haven't said anything that I know of. Now, to me, this is going to be the key. Now, I stole this from Dave Lapham, but this is going to be the key to stopping Philly is their tight ends. You got to stop their tight ends. Carson Wentz loves throwing to the tight ends. Last year, they had 150 catches, over 1,500 yards, and 11 TDs. All of those were to the tight ends. Now, Carson Wentz was the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 4,000 yards and did not have a wide receiver over 500 yards. So that tells me our linebackers have got to be ready to shut down the tight ends and cover them out of the backfield and be ready to go because Carson Wentz is looking for them. Flip side, the Bengals. Joe Burrow really uses the tight ends a ton too. CJ Uzomah is going to be a huge loss. I'm very optimistic about what I saw from Drew Sample. I think he might be taking a step. That catch, I just keep going over that catch. That one-handed grab he had was ridiculous. That's a Shannon Sharp tight end catch, and that's a Hall of Fame tight end. That's the kind of catches that he would make. And the thing is, I watched it again in slow motion. At first, when I saw it live, I thought he caught it, and it stuck in his hand. But he didn't. He caught it, bobbled it, and then still caught it. So that's great athleticism, great concentration. It just gives me hope that I think he can step up. Now, what's behind him, that's another factor. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I really think that the tight ends are going to be big for both teams on both sides of the ball. Now, from what I've heard about the Eagles, their linebacking core is not very good. Again, that's why I say the tight ends could be a very big factor for the Bengals. Now, another thing that I hope that the Bengals do, and I think a lot of us Bengals fans hope they do, is, John Ross, I think you should be a healthy scratch. Alton Tate last year proved that he can play, and he will go get the ball. And John Ross, he keeps getting opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Eventually, you got to grab it. And so far, he has not grabbed it. So I really think Alton Tate should be the next, in the game next week, Sunday, because he can also play special teams. I don't think John Ross plays special teams. Let's see. Jeremy, we should have addressed it like 4 months ago. Yeah, I agree with you. As do many Bengals fans. Do you think Zach's bringing back these guys will warm his seat? I think you mean, I don't know. I think he's bringing them back because I don't know if he has a choice, to be honest. I don't know if he has a better guy to put in there. And I was watching a podcast with the great Jeff Hobson from Bengals.com. And he seems to say that Fred Johnson, you got to give him a break because that was his first snaps at guard in like 2 years in an NFL game. Now, I never played offensive line, so I don't know what the difference is between playing guard and tackle, So I defer to the great Jeff Hobson as, all right, maybe I'll give him a break and we'll see what happens this week. Bobby Hart, I have a hard time giving him a break because he wasn't good last year. He hasn't been that good this year. So, like I said, I'm not sure what the Bengals saw him, but it's the same thing as when they stuck the swinging gate out there Obwahee when they let Witt go, and he couldn't stop anybody. So they fall in love with certain guys. I don't know why, but we'll see. Let's see here. Oh, you got Jeremy? Hold on. Try to bring this up. There you go. Also agree. Also with benching him, or also with him benching Tate. Yeah, I don't think he should have benched Tate. I mean, like I said, I think the whole thing with that is when you got a guy as fast as John Ross, and John Ross, you're never going to take this away from him. Set the fastest time for the 40-yard dash in NFL Combine history. You're never going to take that away from him. And that's the part for me, and I think most Bengals fans, that drives us nuts. He's so fast. He could, take the top off the defense so easily, but he just doesn't, I mean, Willie Gault, he was, if you guys remember him back in the 80s on the 85 Bears, he was an Olympic sprinter, legit Olympic. He was in the Olympics, 1984 Olympics sprinter. He was a good player, but not a great player for as fast as he was. You think he could be that guy. Now you compare him to somebody who torched the Bengals, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Jerry Rice, who played for the Sucky Niners, wasn't that fast, but always got open and always caught the ball and was always there for his quarterback. I'll take that any day over a guy who can run fast. I would rather than be able to run fast and be Jerry Rice. That would be awesome. But, that's neither here nor there. We'll see what happens. Now we got the Bearcats today, or not today. They're playing Saturday at 3:30. They're taking on Army. And I know I've said this before, Bearcat fans, I'm upset. There's nothing we can do about it. They're on ESPN Plus. But if you don't want to spend the money, you can always listen to it on 102.7 WEBN. Hopefully sometime this year we'll be on a channel that we all can watch. That would be great. All right, Mike, what are you asking here? Zach did say, do your job or you're shipped out of the office. Hey, actually, I saw something. I wish I could find that tweet. Paul Danner Jr., I think, tweeted that out. It was, who was the safety? Myers? I think it was. Anyway, basically said, he didn't say who said it, but it was a very intense conversation with the entire defense. Basically, if you guys don't get better, we're going to find somebody who will. That's great, to talk that. Let's hope that the Bengals coaching staff actually does that, because something's got to change. The biggest thing that drove me nuts with the game on Thursday wasn't really the run defense, because I kind of figured without Atkins and without Williams, we'd have a hard time stopping the run, and the Browns got two great running backs. But the part that drove me more nuts was the lack of tackling. And I will put it to you this way. It's a short week. And again, with the pandemic, they didn't have any preseason. They didn't have any OTAs. I'm not making excuses, but it could be a reason why that is. Either way, that's got to be fixed. They got to make tackles. your paid athletes tackle the guy, especially the guy with the ball on the first time. Because there was a couple of times we had him in the backfield and we just slipped off of him. I'm like, oh, it was so frustrating. It was too much like last year where, we missed how many tackles? All right, Jeremy, just feel like a lot of Bengals fans don't understand why Zach didn't add or draft more linemen to the top of Tate, etc. I think he may be on the hot seat at the end of the year, but I hope Jeremy, he's not going to be on the hot seat. We've had this conversation before. We had David Shula for 4 years. We had Bruce Cousin for 4 years. We had Marvin Lewis for 12, 13 years. Zach Taylor's not on the hot seat. That's not going to happen. Mike Brown does not change coaches that quickly. And I'm still not sold that Zach Taylor is a bad coach. I don't like some of his play calling at times, especially the one at the goal line with the Browns. Browns game. What he tried to do a pitch or something. I'm just like, what was that? So I'm not totally sold on Zach being gone. What do you got here? Hang on, sorry, gotta check what Jeremy says. Tackling was my Zeke of the week. Yes, tackling was your Zeke of the week. You are right. It was a good Zeke of the week. But like I said, we get Daniels and we get Geno back. It's going to be a big difference. A lot. It's going to be more like the San Diego game. By the way, I know this isn't Cincinnati sports related, but did you guys hear what happened to Tyrod Taylor? He went to the hospital with chest pains. Well, I didn't know this, but apparently the Bengals defense was so good they cracked a couple of his ribs. I didn't know that. So the doctor gave him a shot in his ribs to try to take the pain away so he can play. He punctured his lung. Tyrod Taylor's lung got punctured. That's why he couldn't play. That's why he's having chest pains. I'm like, ooh, that doctor's fired. Oh, my goodness. Let's see here. What do you got, Mike? With Zach, not only is it his second year, but like I said, maybe there isn't an offensive line out there. Yeah. And now the thing is, there was guys that they could have gotten, they could have picked up in the offseason. I don't know why they didn't. I really don't. With all the moves that the Bengals made, I'm not sure why trying to fix the right tackle wasn't more of a priority. Like I said in my shows in the summertime, I'll be glad to be wrong. I wish I was wrong. I wish Bobby Hart was great. I hope he starts getting better. We need him to get better. Seriously. Now, one thing I have an option that I hope the Bengals try to do this week against the Eagles that Joe Burrow did a lot at LSU is roll out in the pocket, get away from that rush, roll out and chuck it deep, because he did that at LSU and he was very accurate. I don't know if you guys, do you remember the playoff game, the college playoff game against, was it Clemson? No, Clemson was national champion. It was against Oklahoma. Burrow rolls out to the side. He's almost out of bounds and he flips it perfectly. I think it was to Moss, right at the sideline. And I remember I was watching the game at my cousin's house. I go, see? I said, that's my quarterback right there. So Burrow is an accurate passer on the run. It is an option to try to get him out, get him away from that pass rush. Because if they give him time, he's going to kill him. Because Joe Burrow is the best quarterback the Bengals have had, may ever have. So, Jeff Hobson was doing his podcast today with I can't remember the guy's name. He is a reporter for he was with Jacksonville Jaguars, and now he's on CBS Sports. Hang on, I'm trying to look it up here. What is his name? Oh yeah, Pete Briscoe. Yeah, he's doing Jeff Hobson was doing a podcast with Pete Briscoe, and Briscoe is not a Bengals fan. He doesn't cover the Bengals. He doesn't do anything, but he had some very interesting things that he said about Burrow. He compared Joe Burrow to Tom Brady in the pocket, and he was doing that before the Bengals drafted him. He was saying he's out of the pocket. Burrow is way more athletic than Brady is, but in the pocket, the way he breaks it down in his mind and can make the plays and figure out the defense, figure out what they're doing faster than they can. he's like, that's where he's at. And then the other interesting thing he said is Briscoe was asking Tua Tagovailoa. He said in the national championship game where he got hurt, or not where he got hurt, but in the national championship game, I'll try it again. He got hurt this year. Did he think that they would win a national championship if he wasn't hurt? And Tua's answer was, well, I don't know. Maybe, things happen. It wasn't, yeah, definitely, we win. So he told Burrow that, and Burrow's like, very dead serious. We beat him when he was the quarterback at Alabama, right? So Joe Burrow's going, no, even if Tua was the quarterback, I still would have beat him. That is awesome. That is the confidence and the chip on the shoulder you want with Burrow. And that's another thing where I compare him to Brady. He's got that chip on his shoulder from not getting a chance at Ohio State to having to go down to LSU to earn his way on there. I mean, the beginning of last year, they had him ranked as a 5th-round draft pick. 5th. He went from the 5th-round draft choice to number 1 overall in a year. I mean, that is awesome. I mean, that chip that I think he's going to keep on his shoulder for the rest of his career. And that's the other thing. Pisco, I keep messing his name up. Pisco, whatever his name was, that he was on Jeff Hobson's podcast. That's another thing that he said. He goes, those are the things that you want. Pete Prasco, I'll get it right. Those are the things that you want in a quarterback. And those are things that you can't teach. Tom Brady still to this day uses that chip that he wasn't, he was a late round draft pick or whatever and give him no chance. Let's see here what we got. Hold on, Jeremy. I'm trying to bring you up here. If I can get the computer to work. There we go. Let's see. I know I said it, but 2.4 seconds is absolutely unbelievable. We got to give him at least 3. Yeah. And the thing is, like I said earlier, we're only giving him 2.4 seconds, and he threw it 61 times, and he completed 37 of them. And the combined points of both games, the first game and the second game, the Bengals only lost by 8 points. That's it. That's a touchdown and a 2-point conversion in 2 games. So Joe Burrow, like I said, always gives you a chance to win. And that's where I hope Mike Brown and the Bengals and Duke Tobin, which I'm sure they know what they have. I just hope they know what to do with it to protect him. And the biggest thing is the offensive line. I would prefer the Bengals have a great offensive line and okay wide receivers, because Joe Burrow can make okay wide receivers great because he can throw them open. He can do all this. That's, he just needs guys who can get a little bit of separation, and Joe can get him the ball. But you got to give him time to do it. And Joe Mixon, I would love to see him getting going. I mean, if we get the run game going and get Joe Mixon getting off, 5-6 yard runs, that again would give Burrow more time, because then they would bite on the play fake. They wouldn't have, they might have to stack the box because, oh boy, they might run, and that opens up, the outer over the top passes. So there's a lot of stuff that could happen. I can see happening. I just hope it happens faster than it did last year, because Mixon really did not get going until like a 5th game last year. So hopefully he can get going this year quicker. Now, one thing I will put on Mixon that I think he kind of messed up on that goal line stand last week against the Browns. It was the one where they went backwards the whole time. It was one where it should have been a touchdown first. And Giovanni Bernard should have scored. Did score, should have been a touchdown. Anyway, Joe Burrow got sacked. Joe Burrow got sacked after this. But the first play, I think, was to hand it off to Mixon. And instead of Mixon, because we were only on the 1 yard line, instead of Mixon trying to just ram his way in there and maybe you get no gain, he bounced the play out and lost 2-3 yards. To me, Mixon has got to be more, I want to say intelligent. That's a bad word because he wasn't stupid. Just, you got to know where you're at on the field. And at that point, I would rather get no yards than lose 2. If he had a great offensive line and he knew somebody's out there to block for him, then you bounce it out. But our offensive line isn't that good. So it's kind of like sometimes he's just going to have to bow his head and just try to ram it in there and see what happens. So anyway, let's see here. Jeremy and Mike, you guys are the only ones talking to me today. Boom, nailed it. Luckily, O-line, easy to fix for Burrow and Mixon. Hopefully. I hope it's easy to fix. I mean, the other thing is they're going to have to bring in tight ends to block. Maybe you have to do that. Bring extra tight end on the right-hand side to help Bobby Hart and Fred Johnson out. Who knows? Anyway, I'm going to start wrapping this up, guys. I thank all you guys for joining me. I'm going to get onto my Facebook groups that I help run, and I invite you guys to come join. They are Bengals Nation, Reds Country, Bearcats Country, and Cyclones Country. And also, like it's down there on the scrolling on the bottom there. Follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Sports with Strawberry Ice. I added Cincinnati Sports Strawberry Ice, so it might be easier to find sometimes. YouTubers, you guys are doing awesome. We're at 643. Just hit that like and subscribe button and tell all your friends about Strawberry Ice. Other than that, we got Bengals Nation and Strawberry Ice coming up Monday, 5 o'clock. We'll break down the Bengals-Eagles game as best we can, and hopefully we'll be breaking down a win. That would be awesome. Other than that, guys, that's your sports, baby. See ya.